Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Michael Hiskey. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Data Connectors, and I'm delighted to be joined by Eric Adams from the United States Secret Service Vancouver Field Office. We're going to talk a little bit more about what's in store for the keynote address at the Canada West Virtual Cybersecurity Summit. Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Michael, thank you for having me. Again, my name is Eric Adams. I've been with the Secret Service now for almost 19 years. Started in our Miami field office, where we did all types of financial investigations and was part of our electronic crimes task force. And then from there moved to DC, where I was on the Department of Homeland Security Secretary's detail for about a year, and then was on the president's detail for about 8.5 years, and then moved from there to Vancouver, where I am presently the resident agent in charge. And here in Canada, we have it's myself and two others here in Vancouver. We also have a presence in Montreal, and then our special agent in charge, Robert Lamore, who runs the show up here for us, is in our Ottawa office, which is in the U.S. Embassy. And then there's also two other people there as well.
So probably not a lot of people even know that we have that the U.S. Secret Service has offices outside of the U.S.
Sure. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And so we do that, right? We have that because so the mission of the Secret Service, both domestically and abroad, is the same. And that mission is to safeguard the nation's payment systems and overall financial infrastructure, which helps us to preserve the integrity of the economy. Right. So we're able to accomplish this in our foreign offices by working with the world's law enforcement community, by developing and forging partnerships and providing guidance and expertise to safeguard those financial infrastructures through what we call a cross-border partnership, a cross-border relationship.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for our presence here.
So the Secret Service, obviously, people know you for the protection mission, and you certainly do that in Vancouver as well. But so much of your time initiated from back in, funnily enough, in President Lincoln's time, initiated back in the time actually to protect the currency. So tell me a little bit more about why that mission takes you to Vancouver and how you work with the local agencies in a cross-border capacity. So really what we're looking forward to for this week.
Sure, absolutely. Listen, as you're probably aware, cyber-enabled fraud is a borderless crime. It's one where offenders are seldom located in the area where the crime actually occurs, right? The vast majority of the time, these actors are located outside of jurisdictional boundaries. So because of this, we here in Canada partner with Canadian law enforcement on matters of mutual interest, which helps to transcend our common borders. We can accomplish this common interest through collaboration, training, sharing of best practices. And these best practices help us to effectively thwart efforts made by transnational criminal organizations. And these are organizations that victimize both of our country's citizens and financial institutions. So, we're here in a liaison function to help and provide assistance to the local law enforcement here, because so many of these crimes are crossing our borders, whether it's from the U.S. coming into Canada or it's from Canada going into the U.S. So we're able to help each other. Oh, Mike, you're on mute, I believe.
I was making a great point on mute, though. Really, I was. Why do cyber criminals prey on the border? What's the advantage for them?
Well, listen, it's wherever they can go, right? There is no border to them, right? They're sitting wherever they're sitting, and they are hitting victims everywhere. Not only in Canada, obviously, but all over the world, right? So I say it's a relatively easy crime. Like when we're discussing romance schemes or BECs or money laundering, they're not worried about the actual land border, right? They couldn't care less about that. They're not one bit worried about it. So these crimes are perpetrated all over the world. So that's why we have offices all over the world, and that's why we're here, and that's why we build these relationships, with the local community and the local law enforcement. And so it's a great partnership, and the Canadian law enforcement is second to none. I've worked with law enforcement all over the world, all over our country, and they're great to work with. And so it's been a real pleasure.
So this week, we're going to hear from Sergeant Graham Sloan from the Calgary Police Service, but you also work with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, with the Vancouver Local Police Services, and other agencies. Is that right?
That is correct. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we do a lot with the RCMP, the federal police presence here in Canada, but we also work with a lot of the, like you said, Vancouver Police Department, Victoria Police, Edmonton Police Service, Calgary Police Service. So anywhere that we can help, again, that's why we're here, to be able to process and be the nexus for that cross-border relationship.
And how do you partner with those agencies, particularly in matters related to cybercrime?
Sure. Well, listen, through collaboration, with the Canadian law enforcement community, we're able to educate, arrest transnational criminals, and potentially recover funds for victims of financial crimes that we discussed earlier, such as BECs, romance schemes, ransomware, money laundering. So through those channels. Yeah.
And now it's educational events like we have this week for the Canada West audience are important. What else do you see the folks in our audience learning from the discussion between you and Sergeant Sloan at this week's keynote?
Well, just basically, hey, why is the U.S. Secret Service here, and what do we have to offer? Not only in the U.S. but obviously here in Canada. And just know that, we are here to help victims of financial crimes. And a lot of the times those financial crimes are caught crossing what we say the border, correct? Or going into U.S. bank accounts. And we're able to help facilitate the freezing of those funds and potentially get those funds returned back to victims, whether it be a private citizen or a corporation, or a local municipality, or a city that's been attacked, via cyber attack. So anything and everything that we can do to help facilitate the help and the needs to stop this from occurring, or to educate victims, right? One of our main points here is education, right? Because people always think, well, it's never going to happen to me, right? That this will never happen to me. And well, it does, right? And some people may be naive, right? They just don't think that, oh, well, this is only $3,000 or this is only $4,000. This must be legit. And my SAC, my special agent in charge, Rob Lamore, he's very big on not necessarily thresholds with dollar amounts, but if it's $3,000 to one person, that may be everything they have, right? So we don't look at it as, oh, well, it's only $3,000 or it's only $20,000. So we try to do whatever we can to recover those funds.
And $3,000 US is like 5,000 Canadian right now, as it is. But,
I believe so.
But on top of that, what would you encourage people in our audience to do, whether they're able to make it, and hopefully they'll make it on Wednesday to see your keynote presentation, but what would you encourage folks in the audience to do with regard to cybersecurity, regardless of the fact they make it to your keynote or not?
Right. Well, listen, I mean, there's plenty of things online to educate yourself in regards to these different types of schemes, right? These different types of this business email compromise that we were discussing earlier. Talk to your local law enforcement. Talk to the company that you work for. What are their IT rules? I mean, I know that even within the Secret Service, I don't want to say test you, but there's plenty of training on when you receive an email and there's a link in it and there's really no other information on it. What are you going to do with that? Well, the best thing to do is just delete it, right? Delete it and report it, because you never know. And so just be cautious, because nowadays people are so busy, right? They receive 4,000 emails a day, and you know, maybe you just become kind of I don't know. What's the right word for it? Lackadaisical, right? And so you're doing things that you wouldn't normally do, especially in this day and age. So, and I would just say, listen. It's always great to be able to share the relationship between Canadian law enforcement and the Secret Service. That, you know, it enables us to combat crimes that undermine and weaken our community, right? And we want to ensure that our citizens, that our community, that is protected as best as possible. So I'm hoping that on Wednesday, you know, Sergeant Graham and I, or Sloan and I, are able to push out some more information and be a benefit for everyone.
There's so many things to learn. So how to get in touch with your local Secret Service office, who to get in touch with when you have a cybercrime breach, who to get in touch with to learn more about what services are available, both from the Canadian Police Services as well as the United States Secret Service, and all of the other questions you can think to ask. So our experts will take questions. How often do you get asked? How often do you get to ask questions for the United States Secret Service? Right. And you can do in our virtual event environment. So that looks just like this. There's the Canada West Virtual Cybersecurity Summit. It will be open. It will be open for you soon. Sorry, problem. It'll be open for you soon. And once you enter, you'll be able to see all of the virtual event environment, as well as the presentations, solution showcase, and a lot more. So to register, go to dataconnectors.com/attend. Look for the Canada West Virtual Cybersecurity Summit. You'll see that our virtual event environment is second to none, has a great amount of information in there. The ability for voice, video, and text chats, interact in real time with not only Secret Service experts like we have here in Special Agent Adams, as well as local experts, community partners from our local community, and other cybersecurity experts there in Western Canada. Eric, before we go, anything else that you would share with our audience as to why they should check out the virtual cybersecurity summit this week, Wednesday and Thursday?
Well, listen, just I would say the main reason, so they can also hear Sergeant Graham Sloan from the Calgary Police Service. Phenomenal individual, phenomenal investigator. So we'll have a lot of great information for you, and we hope to see everyone there.
Outstanding. Well, we'll leave it right there. I do appreciate your time, Special Agent Adams. For those of you with more questions, make sure you can put them in the chat box right underneath. We'll get back to them in due time. Go to the dataconnectors.com website to learn more about this week's summit. And of course, stay tuned for more updates from the Data Connectors cybersecurity community. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. We sure appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you all this week, Wednesday and Thursday, for the virtual cybersecurity summit for Canada West.